All right, so you may have read my first newsletter. This is the video to go with it. I like writing. I like writing. I've always enjoyed writing. It's something that, as I've gotten older, I realized I liked it. Starting as a kid, writing in journals. I actually got in trouble in third grade because in second grade because I walked through a room, took a third grade book on how to write in cursive, taught myself how to write in cursive. So my teacher was mad that she couldn't teach me cursive. By the time I got to third grade, I had already known. But I've always liked writing prompts. I love writing stories, things like that. As I got in high school, I kept all my stories. And I think the confidence in writing really came from my mom, my dad, my parents always continued to tell me to write it. They would read my articles or papers for school and they liked it. But I think as far as a teacher, it was pivotal in middle school. Her name was Mrs. Starbuck. I was at Lake Olympia Middle School in Fort Bend ISD in Houston. And we wrote a paper, and I was kind of intimidated by the people who were in my class. I was in the gifted and talented honors class, whatever you use the term for that. And we wrote a paper, and this girl who was the smartest girl in class, she got her paper back and started crying because her grade was low. So I'm like, oh man, if she got a whatever, I think she was crying because she got an 85, which, hey, that she never got a B in her life, I think. So she was crying. The teacher told her to suck it up. And so then the Starbucks passed out these papers and she comes to me and like she drops my paper. I made like a 97 and she was like, "Ed, this is an incredible paper." And I just was like, oh wow. Like, for me at that age in middle school, knowing that I got the highest grade in the class for a paper, that really, really helped me. And as I got to high school, I continued to write. I love writing. I've kept a lot of my stories from when I was in high school. I may read some just to do it, make a video, read about it. But yeah, kept some stories when I was in high school. And then the crazy thing though about writing was my parents knew I wrote well. My mom told me she said, "Ed, why don't you just go continue to write for scholarships for school?" And so I was like, yeah, that's simple. I had a lot of scholarship prompts. I just never got around to doing it. So didn't get that scholarship money. But my mom was like, that's a layup. You like writing? It was easy. It was a prompt like, hey, make a fictional story about this. And my favorite types of writing were fiction and I think persuasion. I really like persuasive writing growing up. Anyway, I liked growing up. I liked histories and not history, excuse me, biographies and autobiographies. But that's too many. I didn't like citing all that stuff. That just I don't know. I didn't like that part of it. But anyway, didn't use it in college. Could have got scholarships. But my second semester, my freshman year, we had my first big writing project was we had to write this story or this subject. We had to write about something for 20 pages, and I wrote about the at the time it's still actually happening, which is crazy. My freshman year in college, second semester was 2006, and I was writing about the small number of black coaches in the NFL. And so I took this study by Johnny Cochran and another lawyer. They did a study, so I read that whole study. I wrote it, and it was supposed to be 20 pages. I wrote 67 pages on it because I just couldn't stop writing. This topic, it's crazy that in 2006 there were more black head coaches than there are now, but that's a whole nother story. May share that one day. And my teacher, she was like, "Ed, I got a 93 on it." And I was like, "How did I get a 93 on something I wrote 67 pages on?" She was like, "Because I asked you to write 20 and you got to learn how to make things more concise." But she told me, she's like, "You have a starter manuscript. Why don't you write a book off of this?" And I didn't think anything about that as writing a book. But as time went on, I continued to write. Sorry, my kids are running upstairs. Continue to write and continue to do things. And writing really came back full circle for me when I worked in college athletics, working in college football, and had to write programs or create programs and had to explain to coaches and coach speak what it would be. And then it really came back to me in the last 3 years. I've written 2 books on player development, which is the career. That's why you see all the helmets and stuff. I worked in athletics in the role of player development, which is the enhancement of the athlete experience through holistic and intentional programming and initiatives. And so I wrote 2 books on that. And then I've written about 70 blogs. Like I told you before, I'm writing 4 newsletters. So I like writing. I really like writing. It's something that I really, really want to do. I have this prompt, actually, this book here. I bought it at Barnes and Noble. Called My Life Story. And so memories of the past and thoughts for the future. And so maybe I'll write some stuff on this. So for instance, it has a prompt that says, what is a class you dreaded that you ended up loving? I could write, time on that. If you had Wait, hold on. What is a talent, skill, or interest you started to cultivate during this time? Oh, what time is this? But anyway, I guess high school. What is something you were peer pressured into doing that you ended up being happy you did? So stories like that. I like stuff like that. So I'm really doing this because it's helping me get back to self-discovery, if that makes sense. As I get older and I have kids and start to see them do stuff, I'm like, oh, wow, that's why they do things. And maybe this is why I do it. So anyway, you hear them running, the lights are shaking. I got to see what's going on up there. But just really enjoying this love for writing. I don't want to qualm it because it's really helping. So anyway, you see this YouTube video, if you read the newsletter, there's a link below with the newsletter that dives into it a little bit deeper. But I'm excited for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like and subscribe. It's once again, this channel it's just me. I'm just multifaceted, husband, father, former athlete, former coach, former sports administrator, podcaster, blogger, author, the part-time food review critic, level 7 Google reviewer. I like people. I like coaching people. So it's gonna be a lot on this YouTube channel. So thank you for checking that out. And then like I said, like and subscribe here, share, and check out the newsletter that's in the show notes. Thank you so much for your support. And if you have any topics you want me to talk about in my life, let me know. But yeah, it's and I don't know if there's a link for this. I'll put a link for this in the show notes if there's a link for it. But I got it. I got it a long time ago. There's one too where you can do like your love story. So me and my wife are gonna go through that one. Yeah, it's right here. It's called Our Love Story. So I will find that, like, one thing we could work on is when we're apart, I miss, and we both have sides to write. That's pretty cool. Anyway, but just getting more to story writing, storytelling, and you never know, 50 years from now, grandkids will pick this up and read about their grandparents. So anyway, so I love writing. Like I said, subscribe. The newsletter is in the show notes. If I could find those online, I will put them in the show notes as well. Have a great day. And if you haven't written anything, hey, here's a prompt for you. Write about what you're grateful for. Have a good one.